What the heck is going on down under? Australians considering a $5,000 tax on anyone considering having a baby. These are the same folks who are seriously considering a fat tax on overweight airline passengers. But the weighty issue here is the taxes themselves, clearly meant to disincentivize behavior, like having a child or going on a plane if you're fat. Clearly, the goofy proponents of these goofy ideas get this much. If you want to disincentivize behavior, try taxing that behavior. So, by extension, if we hike taxes on the rich or even near rich, are we disincentivizing their willingness to spend? Jonathan Honig, Tracy Burns, Peter Schiff. Peter, what do you think of that?
Well, you know, there's an old economic truism that you get less of what you tax and you get more of what you subsidize. And obviously, the Australians are figuring that out. But certainly, it applies to us. Unfortunately, in America, what do we tax? We tax hard work. We have an income tax. We have a capital gains tax. We tax people for investing money, for taking risks, for working harder. You look what we subsidize. You know, we subsidize, borrowing money to consume. We subsidize people to buy houses. Is it no wonder we got too many people overpaying for houses because we gave people a subsidy to consume?
So you would be against taxing people who want to have a baby?
Well, I'm against taxes in general, right. But I don't like where government tries to influence behavior. Taxes should raise revenue. The government should not be trying to micromanage the economy through tax policy. They should just raise taxes to support the general defense of the country and to do what governments do, which is very minimal, but they should do it in the most invasive way. They should just have a national sales tax or value-added tax and leave it at that.
You know, Jonathan, there's a lot to what Peter just said there. And my big issue is, if the genie's out of the bottle and you tax hike proponents are saying, not you, but are saying, look, we know we can disincentivize behavior by taxing it, then by extension, are they acknowledging that by hiking taxes on the well-to-do, you'll achieve the same thing?
Well, Neil, I think, to be honest, a lot of the proponents of tax hikes kind of couch it in this altruist notion that somehow the rich earn their rich on the backs of the poor. So a tax hike is really an opportunity for them to kind of give back. But to your point about disincentivizing anything, I mean, the whole notion of this tax on having kids is to disincentivize having kids. And that's what the Greens really want. The Greens want to reduce human population. They see humans as being essentially trespassing on the earth. So their goal is the end of humans. And that's why these types of proposals are becoming more common worldwide.
Trace?
It's Looney Tunes. I mean, truthfully, raising children is taxing enough. You don't need to charge me for it, quite frankly. But I think if you want to tax and you want to disincentivize, why don't you tax tobacco? We are the only country in the world that doesn't have an excise tax on tobacco. You want to stop people from smoking? I mean, some countries it's upwards of 50%.
Well, we do it worse. We subsidize tobacco farmers.
Yeah, but why are we taxing the wealthy? Why are we taxing people that go to work every day and work really, really hard? Why are we thinking about raising the capital gains tax,
we shouldn't
raising
be taxing.
the dividend tax?
Why is having a kid or smoking a cigarette or having a 40-ounce
Please don't compare having a child to having a cigarette.
Yeah, well, but why do we specify, to Peter's point, why do we specify these different activities and say, well, if you want to smoke, well, we're going to tax that. If you want to drive,
well, by the way,
car,
this idea was first pushed in China. And last time I checked, they have a few people in China, so it obviously didn't work too well. But, Peter, here's what I worry about. Because away from the tax on people who are fat, away from the tax on people who might be looking at a baby, is this notion that you raise taxes, you hurt that behavior. That is an important acknowledgement that not a single politician espousing tax hikes has admitted.
You know, of course. I mean, that's what happens. I mean, people respond to the incentives that they're given, the carrots and the sticks. And, you know, if you punish people for working harder, as you tax income, people have an incentive to work less. The higher the taxes go, the greater the preference will be for leisure. And on the other side, if you start giving people money not to work, you have welfare payments, unemployment payments. If people can earn money by doing nothing, your government is going to encourage that behavior as well.
But, Neil, I don't think they realize what they're going to do to the stock market if they get rid of the capital gains and the dividend tax now that is lower at 15%. Because you saw the flow of money into assets that gave dividends and that created capital gains when these laws were put into place. You will now see the flow of money out if they raise these rates.
Well, I'll tell you what, you won't even feel like making babies, let alone.
Yeah, but the important thing, though, is the government has to stop spending. That's
Right.
the source of the problem. It's all the government spending. So if they don't cut our taxes or if they don't raise our taxes, but they spend more and just borrow or print the difference, we still get hurt.
Wise words all. Tomorrow.